Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Can everybody see me? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see the screen? How are we doing on this particular night? All right, very cool. So, today the Seahawks played a game in Arizona against the Cardinals, and they absolutely handled their business. And the most notable thing I took away from this game is simply our ability to recover from adversity. Things weren't going well in this game. Things were actually going very poorly for a little while there. The defense was playing great and then not tackling well. They couldn't finish drives. They allowed a lot of third down and longs. So the defense was playing well, but they weren't flipping the game. And then on offense, Arizona's defense was just playing out of their mind. I think that's the best way I can really put it. Um, Arizona's defense took away our receivers for a lot of that game. There was nothing open downfield. Receivers in general struggled to get open, and yet we also struggled to run the ball early on as well. So Arizona's defense was just doing a good job of taking away our options. So it was looking like it could be one of those games that you lose like 14 to 10 or 14 to 13 and you're just agonized about it all week, right? Like, "Oh, how did we lose? How does Walker never break the big run? How does this happen? How does that happen?" And at the end of the game, during the period of time when that reality could have been made, the offense said no. The offense said, "We're not going to allow that to happen." The offense said, "We're just going to have three drive it down your throat drives." And they were basically perfect on those last three drives. So, more than anything else, I really want to take away from the fact that this game looked like it was getting out of hands. That to me is the headline here. It's live. All right. We're tweeted out. But anyway, yeah. So the Geno in particular was not playing well. Geno in particular didn't have a great sequence of plays right near the middle of this game. You you've got things like Lockett falling down, giving himself up before getting the first down on third and long. You had things like the messy third down play call on the first drive of the game. You had these things, the pick six, the back to back sacks, some of the misses in general, but he did not allow himself to become unraveled. I think it's excuse me. I think that's something that really needs to be pointed out here because to me it looked like he was losing himself. It looked like it was going back to the old Geno from New York. And then he just suddenly started playing almost perfect football. From the moment he converted third and 12 to Lockett to the end of the game, he basically did nothing wrong. Like, that was some stone cold stuff, and it showed he's capable of quickly bouncing back. He did not just revert back into the old Geno. He remembered himself. And don't get me wrong, a lot of what we did on those last 3 drives was running the ball. But Geno still managed things extremely well. That was my favorite thing about this game, just the way that this offense came back. It really felt like the game was about to blow up in our face. It really felt that way. It felt like after the pick six, we were going to go 3-and-out, and then Arizona was going to start waking up on offense because our defense is tired. It felt like that. And then the offense just simply didn't let it happen. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. But yeah, great game. Very proud of what this team showed me this week. And if there was any doubt in anyone's mind about the Seahawks being a good team, well, I think it's time to push those thoughts out of your head. So, this is the post-game stream. Now, quick note, I actually cannot watch the Sunday Night Football game because the cable in my area for network channels is basically not working. It sticks on a still image for like minutes at a time. So it's literally like I'm watching football with not even 1 FPS. It's like 1 F per minute. So no, it's fine, lazy. It's fine. Use Peacock. I have the same issue. I don't have Peacock. Or whatever. Anyway, we're going to spend some time here talking about the Seahawks game they just played against the Cardinals. Obviously, a lot of positive things to talk about in this one. So the stream's going to run until the end of the Sunday Night Football game, and I may have to find out how it ends on the ESPN website. Please like the stream if you haven't already. We have 26 likes right now and over 100 people in here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do daily Seahawks content. I am trying to do minimum these days 3 videos a day. Almost all of them about the Seahawks. So subscribe if that sounds interesting to you. We have some goals over on the left side of the screen for subscriptions. We also have a goal for members. You can click the join button down below or do !member in the chat to become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month. And we also have a couple donation goals. If you would like to support the stream that way, you can do super chats. We have a $50 goal, and we have a tip goal. Go to the link in the description to tip. And that'll just about do it. So let's... I'm going to start addressing questions from the chat. I'm going to start interacting with chat. So let's get underway here. I was at this game. Geno was impressive on multiple plays. He took his time using the entire play clock, reacting to the defense and making adjustments. Yeah, he's good at the pre-snap stuff. But there were a few plays today where it kind of felt like he just ignored the check down. And there were also a few other plays where the play clock got all the way down to 1 second before he snapped. And I think that was a big reason why those plays didn't work. Those plays, to my recollection, mostly got blown up. But he recovered. That's the important thing here. Michael Dominguez, what is your honest view on next week's matchup? At this point, you have to feel really good about it, right? Like, if this team has shown you what they have shown you over the past, now, month, and if you believe in it, and if you believe in what the Bucs have been selling you for several weeks now where they can't score. So, I think that... lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Mostly those plays got blown up because the defense gets to time the snap. No problem, Marcus. Thank you. Henry, should we limit DK's workload next week so he goes into the bye weeks in better shape? We already kind of are. He doesn't play quite a few plays, so I think we already are. Hey, Pigeon. I'm doing good. I believe Pete Carroll is an all-time great head coach, possibly top 15. What do you think? Let me think here. Hold on. Do you mean like just in the NFL or collectively? Because he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. If you're talking about collectively, because he's won a championship on both levels. Garrett Carter, how many sacks does Nwosu have on the season? I think it's now 7. Oh, it's a problem for you. Well, that's true. That is true, Marcus. But it sounds like it's almost over. Both? Then yeah, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Who else has won a championship at both levels? J42G, Pete Carroll is low key pulling a Bill Belichick with the 3 tight end formations and rollouts. It is kind of hard to deal with, so we got to stick with that. I'm hoping we stick with that. It could be until next year before defenses really understand how to adjust to it, I think. Chewy, why doesn't Joey Blunt get any playing time? Well, he was inactive today. He was hurt. So if he was healthy, he's not as good as the guys in front of him. Ava, welcome to the chat. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Wagner is kind of the reason the Bucks lost on that last drive. I didn't notice that. I was recording my post-game video during the end of the Rams-Bucks game. What happened? Sorry about my cough, guys. Eugenio 4, I want to congratulate you because I think you guessed that the score was going to be 31 to 21. I don't remember if it was in the Hawks Nest stream or in the pregame. Yeah, I think I did like 31-24 in the pregame video, so I was close. But I don't know if I did 31-21 on the Hawks Nest live stream. Maybe I did. I know I was in that range. Green 80, should Josh Jones be benched or whatever his name is? He's already been benched. He only plays when we go dime because Ryan Neal comes up. Dylan Wickoff, thank you for the $1.99. Good stuff. Appreciate it. Pete, Coach of the Year. Right now, I think it would still be Nick Sirianni, but there's absolutely an opportunity for Pete to sneak it. Brady Red, did Trey Brown play at all? I don't believe so. Green 80, he just didn't drop in. Tom put it over his and Ramsey's head. Was no reason for Bobby to stand where he was, though. Austin Roberts, thank you for the member message. Another win. It's so incredibly fun right now. Yeah, the team is very, very fun at the moment. And while they are better than I thought they would be, I think the difference in the way in which they play is even more drastic than how wrong I've been about how good they would be. Eugenio Ford, did you see that Sidney Jones is going to joining the Raiders? We are going to play him in 3 weeks. I did see that. I was kind of hoping he would go to a team that was a little better, so he'd have a chance to. I guess he won a Super Bowl his rookie year, right? Sidney Jones sat on the bench and watched the Eagles win a Super Bowl, right? David Pugh. So y'all think him getting that extra yard would have changed the game for us and made? Oh, okay. A couple people in my chat are arguing about the Tyler Lockett going down early thing. So I'll give my thoughts on it. I think one distinction that people need to start making on this stuff is that you can be critical of somebody, you can criticize someone, you can call somebody out and say that wasn't okay, but that doesn't mean you're done with them or you're giving up on them or you want them gone. There's space, massive space between I love this guy and have absolutely nothing to criticize him on, and I want this guy on another team, is what I'm trying to get at here. So, I mean, that was a mistake. It was definitely a mistake. Lockett shouldn't have done that, and he knows it. But he doesn't know where the first down marker is, so mistakes like that are going to happen. Like just boiling it down to its most basic level, he probably thought he already had the first down. So there's no yellow line on the field for him to look at. So he doesn't know exactly where he needs to go. And he's going to give himself up when he can because, well, I mean, he's already had one major injury in the NFL. Zach Sargent, is it okay if I give up on D. Eskridge and hope he proves me wrong? Yeah, everybody should be giving up on Dwayne Eskridge. He's literally the only impact he has now is as a blocker and as a decoy. And by the way, why does anybody fall for the D. Eskridge decoy when we never give him the ball? Dylan Wickoff, Bruce Irvin still has some football left in the tank. He played. I thought overall he played good today. I wasn't sure about every single snap, but he obviously made a play in the backfield and seemed to generally hold up. Arizona didn't run the ball on us that much. That last drive was so freaking awesome. Put kids upstairs to bed on that drive. I mean, those last three drives in general were just, especially because the offense hadn't looked good to that point. Ugh. Ugular 14, do you think we missed Taylor this week too? No, because I thought we got a lot of pressure on Kyler. There were some difficulties in bringing him down, but we got plenty of pressure on Kyler. Pretty much the whole game, I think. Isaac N., how did our tackles play? Mostly fine. Geno got sacked twice, and both of them were coverage sacks. I don't put that on the offensive lineman. Cross had one penalty, and I think that's it. If Lockett knew that he needed 2 more yards for the first down, he probably would have sold out for it. Maybe get it, maybe not. But that's a mistake that makes all the sense in the world for somebody to make. Marcus Eskridge needs to be traded. Maybe he works out with another team. The thing I hate about Pete is his overreaching on drafting players. Pete's had 2 drafts where he stayed on point. I mean, nobody's going to trade for Eskridge. The dude is already like 26 years old, and he can't do anything except block and run around on the field so people acknowledge his existence. And like, he must be the world's worst decoy because even when he gets open, Geno doesn't ever look at him. Every game I see Eskridge open and Geno just not throw the ball. And by the way, I was not one of the OG Eskridge haters. I actually thought the pick was fine when we made it. I was like, okay, sure. I didn't like it. I didn't dislike it. I was like ambivalent on it. So I'm not one of those people who destroyed the pick when we made it, which most people did. You, you you got to remember that I'm not coming from that place where I already assumed he was garbage. Jesse Lund, let's go. We killed him while also only playing half great. Yeah, I mean, even when we weren't playing well, we were still competing in there. It's not like there was ever a point in this game where we just couldn't do anything right. It was it was more like it was sloppy, but it was because it was competitive. You saw there were some emotions running high during this game early. There was some trash talk developing with all the stuff Arizona was fighting through in this game. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. David Tekeski, Jags winning today was huge. Broncos pick might still be top five. Um, well, does head to head matter for draft picks? Tiebreakers? Eskridge is a speed threat. Every team has wide receivers that are speed threats but don't get the ball very much. Yeah, but a lot of the time those guys are like fifth round picks. And you hope they develop into a guy who can actually get the ball a lot. Bro, Eskridge is still young. Y'all tripping. He's Tyler's replacement. Well, Jay, he's not that young. And he doesn't run good routes. He doesn't have good hands. The reason why he's highly touted is that he's fast and supposedly he's also very good at making yards after the catch and people miss after contact. Pandalorian, how about using more of Fant like we did today in future games? Finally, he looked like a great tight end today. Well, it's important to remember that Arizona is not good at defending tight ends in general. I remember in previous years there was kind of a joke. Arizona's strategy for defending against tight ends is to just let them get open. And I believe it's still partially the case. So there was a little bit of that going on there. But that being said, it was Fant's best game of the year by far. And if he can play like that all year, we've really got something. Give Geno a contract? There's no point to do it right now. Let's do it after the season. What would be the benefit of doing it now? Woolen played great against Hopkins, I assume. I thought Woolen played a good game. He gave up the touchdown to Zach Ertz, but I don't really think he did anything wrong. Nathan, how do you think the season is going to play out? What do you mean? Do you just mean like wins and losses? I did that on the a stream of the Hawks Nest fairly recently. David, how much would you pay Geno if season ended right now? 4 years, 100 no, wait. 4 years, 120 million. He's probably going to be worth more by the end of the year because this is not stopping anytime soon. Charisma Laurier. I'm sorry. Charisma Lorelei. Cheers to another win, bud. If anything, what did this win prove today? Well, I think the main thing that it proved was that this team was able to respond to adversity. This was a classic weird trap game thing where you just sluggishly go through the motions for 3 hours and the game is annoyingly close the whole time. And then you give up some last minute field goal drive to lose the game. And you're just sitting there wondering what the heck just happened. This is excuse me. This is I'm sorry. This is a game where that looked like it was going to happen, and then the offense just stepped up and was like, "Yeah, we're not letting it happen. Not this time." ADL Williams should have signed Geno to a 2 year, 20 million before the season. He wouldn't have he would just hold out at the end of the year. Like there's no difference whatsoever. He's not going to have this Pro Bowl caliber year and then play on a deal with 1 year remaining. Like who does that? So it wouldn't have mattered, guys. Look, one thing I have noticed from the Seahawks community in recent days is that they're trying to find some way, just find some possible way to finagle Geno Smith for cheap, keep him around at a low rate. Guys, you're not tricking your way out of this one. He knows how well he's playing and he knows what he should be getting paid based off his current level of play. So You're not going to trick him into taking less money. And even if you had given him less money the year before, he just holds out. So none of it matters. If he had signed a 5-year deal worth like $10 million with the Seahawks before this year started, you think he'd let that get in the way of his big payday? I mean, he shouldn't. Maybe he would, but he certainly shouldn't. If we don't keep Geno for next season, should we give Locke a shot for a year and see what he can do with our offense? If you can't find anybody really appealing, then sure. Like, if there's the possibility of developing Drew Lock, but it just because it worked with Geno doesn't mean it's going to work with everybody we try to reform. James Black, I don't hate the Lock idea. I don't want to pay any QB. Nothing against Geno. I mean, it's going to be a little uncomfortable and it's going to reduce your window compared to a rookie contract, but maybe it's worth it. Seahawks absolutely must spend one of our top 4 draft picks on a quarterback, linebacker, and edge rusher. Um, it depends on who's there. I'm just going to keep kind of trying to reiterate that. It depends on who's there at the pick. I'm not going to commit. Not going to commit to taking a particular position. That's how we ended up with LJ Collier, guys. Brady did LJ Collier play? Yes. He played, I think, quite a bit. Desperately want to see Trey Brown versus the Bucks. Well, I don't know what's going on there, but I'm pretty sure he has to be activated soon or go on season-ending IR. TJ Wilborn, would you do a Mahomes, draft a QB, and wait a year for him to develop? Who? Who would be the quarterback? Because you got to remember, Pete's not going to be here forever. So if Pete sees an opportunity to make the team better now versus in a year when a developed quarterback gets to play, he's probably going to choose to try to make his team better now. And if you're going to give Geno big money, you should do that. Rajho Collier got a sack. No, Collier didn't get a sack. Tan Fam, should we re-sign Rashad Penny? I'm pretty indifferent to the Rashad Penny thing. Like, if we re-sign him, cool, but I'm not expecting anything real out of it. So I think that I either way is fine with me. I like Rashad Penny, but you can't depend on him. Charisma, Ryan Neal, your thoughts? He's really saved this defense because Josh Jones was not capable at all. So he has developed a lot from last year as well, by the way. Last year he played a lot of safety and I don't think he was good at it. This year he's much better. So those are my thoughts on Ryan Neal. He's awesome. Eduardo, big money to Geno would be how much? Look, if you want to know what big Geno money is, go look at what Aaron Rodgers got. Go look at what Josh Allen got. Geno Smith may very well ask for that kind of stuff. He may very well ask for that amount of money. I would recommend everyone prepare for it mentally. He may not get it. Maybe he shouldn't get it. But he can credibly ask for it. Terrence 2X, what's your thoughts on Quandre Diggs? Doesn't really look to me like he trusts his leg. And maybe that's understandable, but it's looking like it might have been the one misstep of the post-Wilson Seahawks of real significance. Ethan Madden, do you think any other team would want Penny with all the injuries? No. No, I'm sure we can keep him if we want him. I'm sure we just give him the veteran minimum and he's cool, but it's a roster spot. Is it worth spending a roster spot on a guy who you know will get hurt? You just hope you get a few good games out of him first? I don't know. 16-bit blocker, no way he gets 50 million a year. He is 32. Wilson is 33, I think, and he got 50 million a year. What does age have to do with it? Aaron Rodgers got 50 mil, and he's 800 years old. No, I don't know if Geno gets that kind of money, but be ready for him to credibly ask for it, is what I'm saying. Go Hawks oh 05. Diggs is still playing great in coverage. He's just not the big play machine of years past. Yeah, I do agree he's covering well, but like today, not only is he not making big plays, now he's taking away a big play from Kobe Bryant with the unnecessary and bizarre illegal contact. That, which I'm pretty sure, by the way, I saw some people saying that was a bad call. I don't think it is. Gino knows he will suck anywhere but Seattle. I would rather suck and have hundreds of millions of dollars than be good and have not 100, not hundreds of millions of dollars. So look, I think he'll be willing to live with that. Dino, would you potentially trade for a defensive player in the offseason? If yes, who would it be? I don't think we need to really make a trade. There should be enough going on in free agency and the draft for you to get what you need. Drop top thoughts on Hooker after this game? Pretty much the same. I don't blame him for failing to beat up on Georgia's defense. I think the same of Hooker. The concerns I have about Hooker are about the offense he runs in Tennessee, which is pretty simplified. But that has nothing to do with a good game or a bad game. Jeff Robinson, Geno is 32, but he has a football body of a 25-year-old. He's been sitting on the bench for so many years, not taking the usual NFL punishment. Well, I mean, it's going to be a test, right? Because this doesn't happen very often. How old was Kurt Warner when he had his rookie year? He still wasn't able to play football once he got to a certain age. So I don't know if it's that simple. Now, I will say there is less wear and tear on his body, and that matters. But I don't think he's going. I do know he's going to be looked at differently than a guy like Josh Allen. I get that. Or differently than a guy like Aaron Rodgers. But the way he is playing, he can argue for that. Like, how many quarterbacks this league in the NFL have been better than Geno this year? Um, Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. Who else? Cincinnati linebacker Ivan Pace. He is the linebacker we need, second round. That's not bad. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to start making content about the later parts of the draft. Jalen Hurts. Lamar's not been better than Geno. I think Lamar's kind of sucked. And Tua. So, Geno has a legitimate claim to being a top five quarterback this year. He's going to leverage that to ask for a lot of money, and he should be able to get it. He's a quarterback. Like, let's say you're the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. Let's say their season implodes because Kirk Cousins craps his pants. So they dump him, get rid of him, and they look at their team and they're like, "We have a Super Bowl team. We just need a quarterback who can do it." They would go after Geno. If Tom Brady retires, Tampa Bay is going to go after Geno. Jalen Hurts hasn't played a good defense at all this year, except the Cowboys. Yeah, but he's still playing well. I mean, this isn't a question of which player is better. This is a question of who is playing better. And there is a difference, especially over relatively short periods of time. We are legit. Yes, we are, Corey. Are you going to start scouting for the 2024 NFL draft for quarterbacks? Oh, that's not going to happen until after the upcoming draft. More or less. Like, of course, I'm watching Caleb Williams and I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty good. But not actually like scouting in the way that you're thinking of. So Geno might be a top 5 quarterback. Those guys get paid. And yes, Geno's going to get less than the top guys probably because of his reputation, but not that much less. Henry M, how about our tight ends today? We got some weapons there. Well, I'll tell you, this is the right team to do it on. And I'm really happy for Fant. He was kind of struggling there for a little bit, I think. Do you see our front office paying Geno? Seems like he's well liked. If we like him enough, I think we will pay him. I think Carroll would probably demand it because honestly, the mentality I see Carroll having right now is along the lines of, oh, I can either just be good now or get a young quarterback and hope to be good later when I might be retired later because I'm 800 years old. Like, yeah, he's 100% gonna prefer Geno over any rookie quarterback who might be good at some point, instead of having the guy that in his mind is already good. Excuse me. TJ, 20 to 25 million for Geno is probably realistic. No, no, I don't think so at all. I think Geno's going to be looking for at this point. I think that Geno is asking for a minimum of 30 million a year, and you may not think he's worth that, but all he needs is one team to tell him that he is worth that, and that's your value. Pete said Cullen Gillespie looks to have a serious knee injury. Yeah, I saw that. That was the one injury we had. It's granted not the most harmful one, but it is an injury. Brian Tran, would you give it to Geno? At this point, I have to say, yeah. Today proved something to me, man. I know it wasn't his best game, but the way he bounced back after the game started so poorly, I was really impressed by that. So I'm going to say yes. Also, we are closer to a contending Super Bowl caliber team than I thought we were. Do you think we keep Geno until 2025 and draft Arch Manning in 2025? That's possibly the case, but Arch Manning's going to go number 1 overall, so you're going to have to be really, really bad. Geno is playing like the 2012 Russell Wilson. If our defense keeps it up, we might be in the Super Bowl this year or next year. The NFC's weak enough to where something crazy could happen, but I don't think we're as good as Philly. I just don't. Robert Henry, thank you for the $9.99. Here's to sweep of cards. 6-3 now, off to Germany versus Bucks. I like our chances. Go Hawks. So thank you, Robert. And yeah, apparently somebody pointed out we sweep them once every 4 years, right? Because 2010, 2014, 2018, 2022, those are the years we swept the Cardinals. So bet on us to sweep the Cardinals in 2026 is the idea. Zach Sargent, do we go all in with Geno and just commit to him and build around him? I mean, if you pay him, then that is what you should do. And at this point, I think it's better than the alternative because I don't like these rookie quarterbacks that much. David, you think we are the second best team in the NFC? Are we better than the Vikings? I don't know if I can criticize the Vikings that much anymore. They just keep winning. But other than that, sure, I think we're better than Dallas. Aaron's 2X, I like CJ Stroud, but we won't be able to get him. Yes, yes, exactly. I like CJ Stroud a lot as well. I would love CJ Stroud. If CJ Stroud was on the table, I would let Geno go and get CJ Stroud, but I don't think he's on the table. Austin Roberts 49ers are still better than us. Are they though? I think they maybe. I'm not convinced anymore, man. That Niners team has been wildly inconsistent since that game in week 2. Yo, these guys are drunken clues when it comes to NFL contracts. I don't know if it's that. I kind of feel like more the issue is they don't understand how impressive what Geno is doing is, kind of. I don't think they understand how it's going to look to the rest of the NFL. Birdie shoots. Pete also didn't use Geno in his new role until after week 2. Yeah, that too. Now, the Niners still blew us out, and I'm sure they would have blown us out pretty much no matter what because of the nature of that game. But don't get it twisted. That 49ers team has shown some real weakness. They got blown out by Atlanta, blown out by the Chiefs, and I know the Chiefs are good, but as we can see, that doesn't give you an excuse to get waxed by them like that. So, yeah, I'm not convinced of that. Stephen A. Smith, would you take David Carr or Geno? I feel bad for David Carr, though. It always made sense to me that he was going to be good, and then he wasn't. Puppet Master, watching the Hawks with zero expectations is so zen for me. They have nothing to lose and everything to win. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though. We now have expectations, right? Because they keep winning and they keep doing good things and having success. Dangerous. Brendan, when will get the winner of the hat? All the hat stuff has been finished, as far as I know. I've contacted the 3 winners. I got them the hat or the equivalent. I'm pretty sure it's all good now. If it's not, somebody let me know. $20 million in a year for Nwosu. I'm wondering because he's got 7 sacks. If he ends up with like 13, does he get the 20 million? Does he get the tier 2 contract? Not the tier 3 one? Would I give it to him? I guess. Yeah, Nwosu has 7 sacks now, guys. Pandalorian Chiefs look off today. 10 might get the dub. I haven't really been able to watch any of the game because my cable's freaking out. But, yeah. You know, and here's the thing. Like, you look around the league today, you've got a couple of elite teams really getting smacked back down to earth. Like the Chiefs are right now, like the Bills were. And it looked like we were kind of going to get smacked back down to earth, and we just didn't let it happen. VFX, Brendan, you weren't very high on Nwosu, right? I'm going to be perfectly honest. I didn't really know who Nwosu was until we signed him. I did a lot of research on free agent pass rushers. He completely evaded my search. I did not notice him at all on anything that I looked at. So when we signed him, I didn't really know who it was. But when I looked into it and did some research into it, I liked the signing. I didn't think he was going to be this good. I didn't think he was going to be like this, but I did think it was a good signing. What position should we get from our first round picks? I'm looking mostly at like linebacker, defensive line, interior, offensive line. Right now, if you stick to Geno, that's it. Broad question, but best player on our team? Best player on our team? That's actually really hard. Like, is it Geno just because of the importance of the position? Because I think relative to like where they rank, maybe it would be somebody like Metcalf or Lockett. If it were based off how the play has been this year, maybe Tariq Woolen, honestly. Maybe Michael Dixon. That's actually a pretty good one. Birdie shoots. You can consider a wide receiver in the second, considering Eskridge is horrible and it's a deep class. Yeah, you can, but remember, guys, we use more 2 tight end and 3 tight end than anyone else in the NFL. So you don't need to spend a ton of stuff on a receiver. if you're going to be running this offense, because you've already got big investments with Lockett and Metcalf. So if there's a better place to use that second round pick, you should go for it. Brian Tran, fair to say Tariq locked down Nuck today? Well, he wasn't always on Nuck because they're zone corners, and Arizona uses a lot of pre-snap motion. So it wasn't always on him. I thought Tariq played a good game. I thought Tariq played fine. He gave up the touchdown, but he didn't do anything wrong. He had some good tackles. He had some good coverage. Overall, I had a positive impression of the game he played. Mr. Carroll, you saying tight end early then? No, because all of our tight ends are under contract next year. All three of our tight ends are at least one more year contracted, and I believe they will all be here. I don't think any of them are going to get cut or demand a extension or anything like that. It's not just one guy making it happen on the front. It's a bunch of guys creating pressure that is giving Shenna his opportunities. Well, yeah, sure, but it's mostly Uchenna. It's David Buddha did the exact opposite of what you said. Brendan was probably their most impactful defensive player, more impactful than the guy who got the pick six. I don't know about that. Like Zaven Collins was dancing in the end zone. That's pretty impactful. Do you know we need to give DK more targets, man? I mean, look, if he's going to draw free safety attention on every single play, which he pretty much does, then I'm good with it. I'm pretty ambivalent, King Bomber, on re-signing Travis Homer. You can find other blocking backs. Maybe they won't be quite as good as Homer, but they'll be good enough. Yeah, Pandalorian. I mean, Bruce has been good ever since he got here, though. It's not like it's not like he's revving up. He got started pretty much immediately. Like, don't worry about feeding the ball to one particular person. We need to continue to do whatever works the best. Phil Haynes, Geno Smith, and Rhino, the only major free agents, if I'm not wrong. Puna Ford, but I don't think we're going to want him back. Puna's fun, but he's just doesn't fit that well, what we're doing. All right, guys, we've been streaming for about 45 minutes here, so I want to thank everybody who's coming out to the stream tonight to hang out. We have over 300 people in here. Please like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want daily Seahawks content. We're doing like 3 videos a day most of the time. Become a channel member for $2 or $5 a month by becoming a member. Click the join button down below, and you gain access to some channel perks in exchange for your $2 or $5 a month. We also take donations in the form of super chats and tips. If you want to tip, click the link down in the description. And let's see here. Pandalorian, did Michael Jackson have a decent game today? I noticed him in a negative way a couple times, but look, I pretty much what I would say is that on a day like today, everybody at least did okay on defense. Like it was, if anybody on that defense played terrible, I don't think we would have been as good as we were. So I guess everyone just did their job at the minimum. Hey, Tumbo, what's up? Well, how about them Seahawks? Yeah, things are happening. Dacian23, did Tariq do better than you thought against D-Hop? Well, Tariq wasn't following D-Hop around, so it was the whole defense did a really nice job making D-Hop not really be a factor. But Tariq played fine. I think Tariq played a perfectly good game. I feel bad for Kobe. He got screwed out of 2 turnover opportunities. King Bomber, Cody Barton was probably the worst player on that defense. Yeah, and I thought he wasn't like a complete disaster or anything. Hey, Empower Code, what's up? Yeah, feeling good today. 4 receptions, 36 yards, 1 touchdown for D-Hop. He was out of the game. Well, yeah. Remember, I think 23 of those yards came on that touchdown where the linebackers screwed up the coverage on him. I think Brooks didn't pass him off right or something. That's my understanding of it. And other than that play, he may as well have not played. So, what did you think about that Boye Mafe and Jordan Brooks miscommunication on the D Hop touchdown? Do you think it's a potential problem or just a fluke? I mean, it's always going to kind of be a problem when you have a linebacker covering somebody like DeAndre Hopkins, right? But I mean, it is a potential problem. In fact, it's an incipient problem. And I believe that the how should I put this? The answer is that Jordan Brooks can't cover, and he'll never be able to cover. He hasn't shown any ability to do it yet. Do you think there should be any buyers for Jamal? If so, should we sell? No, I don't think anybody's buying on Jamal. We may as well keep him and hope he stays in one piece next year, I guess. And I'm okay with that. Like, we'd already be paying him a ton of money if we traded him. So, may as well. It's now gotten to the point where I'm more nervous during Myers' extra points than his field goals. Yeah, he almost missed 2 today. I forgot about that, but yeah, you're right. Huh. That's pretty pretty dicey, but genuinely having a monster bounce back year that I didn't see coming. I guess this proves how random kicking is. Mafe is going to be elite in his career. He has so much power off the line. Yeah, I loved Mafe. I know he was raw, but he was definitely a guy that I was highly interested in. There was just something about his ability to use his hands combined with his speed that I thought would work really well in the NFL. Oh, we have a sub to the channel, Michael Sylvester. Welcome to the channel. It's David. How good did that UDFA linebacker do today? Thought he did okay. I only noticed him a few times. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. I know he had a tackle on one of the late drives by Arizona. At least one. Was at the game. So glorious watching the Cards fans pack up and walk out of the stadium after the Walker touchdown. Yeah, we gotta stop using Walker so much because he's gonna wear down. But it was, you could like really see Arizona's defense just wearing out by the end of that game because we kept on pounding it. And eventually those runs started to break through, and on that final couple of drives, Walker just kind of ran over him. Dean, I'm hoping Brooks will improve his coverage. Wyman seems to think there's a learning curve there. Well, my problem is this is now year 3, and he's not looking any better at it. And he wasn't really good at it in college. And I'm not expecting a guy who wasn't even good at it in college to suddenly become capable at it at a much higher level. So if it was going to happen, I think it would have happened by now. He has value, but honestly, on a day like today where he's missing tackles, missed a few, doesn't have a lot of value. That's why DJ Dallas is valuable. He can tote the rock. Sucks he got hurt today. Did he? I didn't notice that. I guess Eskridge was back there for the kick returns. I don't think he got hurt. Didn't he fumble and get it back, and then we didn't see him again? I don't think he got hurt. Dino Jandrick, who could we have drafted instead of LJ Collier, who is successful right now? Well, before we traded down, we could have taken Montez Sweat. He's good. Montez Sweat actually would have been probably made it so we never made the Jamal Adams trade either, because we would have had a pass rusher. Pete said after the game Dallas had some knee issues. Okay, I did not see that. That's interesting. That's unfortunate because Homer just got back, and I'm trying to develop some depth in this backfield so we can utilize it. I hope it's not severe. Liam, you supposed to get any snow where you're at? I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about it. I'm not expecting it. KCW, welcome to the Basic Membership Club. Let's go. Welcome to the team. You can now use emojis. You now have a cool little badge in chat, and you're now going to get shouted out at the beginning of videos and in video descriptions. Marcus, Brooks, Taylor, and Robinson have too many mental lapses, and we're all overreaches by Pete. We need a skilled MOB from the draft. Well, Robinson, we haven't even seen this year, so I don't know what's going on there, but I don't have super high expectations for him anyway. Like players like Brooks and Taylor have some value in the NFL, but it's very limited. So you got to put them in the right positions to succeed, and I don't feel like we do that with Brooks. Sometimes we do, but sometimes we don't. Sean K, is there a B&B show tomorrow? No, we never do it on Monday. We do it on Tuesday and Thursday. I believe it should just be on Tuesday like we usually do it. Dino Jandrick, just hope the Broncos keep losing so we can draft Will Anderson. You're going to need the Panthers to win again. You need the Panthers to beat the Broncos. Thank you, KCW. You're going to need the Panthers to beat the Broncos because that's like double whammy if the Panthers lose that game. They're guaranteed pretty much to get the number one pick if they do. You need the Lions to win at least one more game, I think, maybe two more games. You need Jacksonville to keep winning because excuse me, my bad. We're looking at a new OC in the future. Oh, the way Waldron's doing? Yeah, that is the reality of the NFL, though. If you get somebody good, somebody else wants them. Dylan McKay, I'm hoping for Tenry To'o second round. Yeah, that's pretty appealing, Dylan McKay. Honestly, him and Trenton Simpson are the interior linebackers who have intrigued me the most so far. There are a few others, like I'm not talking about the pass rushers, by the way. I'm talking about like the interior linebackers. Honestly, I think Brian Brees is our best bet for what is happening right now. I want Brian Brees or Miles Murphy, I think. For the LJ Collier question, Debo Samuel. Okay. But, I mean, if we take Debo, we don't get Metcalf. So it wouldn't have made the team that much better. You would have just traded one good receiver for another. Brian Tran, predictions for the game next week versus Tampa Bay. I'm starting to feel it, man. Like, I watched a little bit of that game against the Rams today whenever the Seahawks were in commercial, and they just can't score. So, with the way our defense has been playing, I don't see how I can expect anything else. Well done, Brendan. Thanks. I'm a fan of Dave Zirin. Are you? Are you talking about Dave Zorn? Is that what you mean? I don't know Dave Zirin. John S., thank you for the $1.99. My wife wants to know if we are going to the playoffs. At this point, the only reasonable assumption that a person can make is that, yes, we are. Even if we don't win the division, the NFC doesn't have a lot of primo wildcard teams. Because I do believe the Giants are going to fade. So it's going to be probably the Cowboys at the top of the wildcard rankings. But after that, you should be able to sneak in without a great record. So if we get to 10 wins, I think it's Lockett in the back. Brendan, what did you think about Tyler sliding down before the first down marker? He didn't know where it was. He thought he had the first down, which makes sense, right? Because there's no yellow line on the field. If he knew he didn't have the first down, he would have sold out to get it, I believe. That's generally how these football players are wired. But, yeah, it is what it is. I don't have a problem with it. I saw that Canine don't have a passport. Oh boy. Well, he could use a week off after how much we utilized him in this current in today's game. So maybe it's not the end of the world. Still, shouldn't he keep going? No. We all know that Lockett is trying to preserve himself and not take as much contact as he can avoid. If he thinks he has the first down on third down, then I understand him sliding. Now, the only argument that I think can be made is should he be sliding at all? Like, should he just be taking full contact every time? I don't think we can safely I don't think we can safely say that we would be happier with Lockett taking full contact every time. How many more years do you see Lockett playing in the NFL? Maybe until the end of this contract, or when the contract starts to taper off, like you switch to a. In the last year, you probably extend it out a little bit, but you take the value way down, and then you and then you just let him play out until he retires. Should we start trying to pass to K9 at all, or do we just keep him on the ground? He had 20 receiving yards today, Ethan. We did throw him the ball a few times. I think he had 3 catches for 20 yards. JM1231, thank you for the $2. How are you feeling about Broncos Titans next week? It looks to me like you can run on the Denver Broncos a little bit. It looks to me like their run defense is not great. Even we did okay against it. I think every team they played has done fairly well against it, except the 49ers, who had no running backs at that time. So Derrick Henry should go off, but I really hope Tannehill's back because if Denver's defense gets bailed out by having to play a rookie Malik Willis who has I think less than 10 completions in 7 quarters of NFL football, then that's a great recipe for them to run the ball well but only score 13 points and lose 14-13. But that front four for the Tennessee Titans is going to destroy Russell. He is going to get flooded by that front four. So that pass rush is going to make his life hell, just like it's making life really, really bad for Mahomes right now. Those are my thoughts on that game. Any chance they bring Bruce back next season? I think he had 1 sack today. How about that defense? Wow. I mean, if we want to, right? He was basically retired. He was a free agent. So clearly there's no tremendous amount of desire to have him. So therefore, if you want to keep him, you're going to be able to do it. And there's no reason not to unless you have someone else you think is better. I mean, James, I'm sure if he feels like he can do it, he would do it. It's not like he's had some ultra successful career where he's made all the money in the world and he has all the accolades in the world. No, if he has a chance to do it and he thinks he can, then I think he would. Sign OBJ, we're having a good run right now, and also DK and Lockett aren't 100%. I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think Odell gets back healthy in time for that to matter. I think by the time he gets back, DK and Lockett are going to be pretty much 100% or as close to as they're going to get to it this year. And why would Odell come here if he's never going to get the ball because we run 3 tight end sets constantly? Marcus Overly, does anyone know how they calculate the college QB ratings? No, I don't. I've actually never really thought about that before. How much do you think we need to pay Geno next year? 20 to 25 mil is what I'm thinking is fair. I think he's going to ask for at least 30, and he might ask for 50, but you're going to have to give him at least 30. At least. David, are we looking at a Geno Pro Bowl season? Well, who's the best quarterback in the NFC? Jalen Hurts? And who's second? Is it Kirk Cousins or Geno Smith? The answer is it doesn't matter because either way he's in the top three. So, I think so. I mean, let's think about that for a second here. It's not, I mean, based on play, it's not Rodgers and it's not Brady. It's not Justin Fields, although he's playing really well lately. Credit to him. It's not Jared Goff. It's not whatever they have going on over in Carolina. Q Coffee, you think Bobby plays his full contract? No. That's a 5-year deal. He's not going to see all that money. There's no way. I think it's basically a 2-year deal. Do you think investing Geno is worth it this year might just be an aberration? Well, yeah, but it's not like anything else you can do is a sure thing. Drafting a rookie is not a sure thing. Getting a guy like a Taylor Heineke to be your starting quarterback is not a sure thing. So whatever you do, it's going to be some kind of a gamble. Dylan Wynn, resign Jason Myers. Isn't he old? I guess kickers can play forever. But look, if we give him big money again, I'm going to not like that very much because, quite simply, kicking is random. And we get the evidence of this all the time. Myers may have been the worst kicker in the league last year. Now suddenly he's the best kicker in the league. It's all random. Get somebody who can be good some of the time for cheap. Don't spend big money on the exact same thing. I honestly don't think DK will hit 1,000 yards with Geno, just doesn't get enough targets. I don't really agree because eventually DK is going to break a big play, like a 50-yarder. Just mathematically, it's going to happen eventually. It's way too hard for a guy like Metcalf to play the whole year without busting any super big plays. It's going to happen, and it's going to boost his total so close or by so much that he'll get there eventually. I agree Geno should get a 2-year deal. That gets us to 2025 draft and Archie Manning if we give 2-3 first rounders for the rights to draft Archie Manning. I don't think Geno would take a 2-year deal. Maybe he takes 3 years, but he might want 4. I don't think he takes a 2-year deal. Like, this is going to be his big chance to get paid, and he's probably not going to get another one just because he's already relatively old. Eugenio, how did you think the O-line did today? I thought they did fantastic pass blocking. The pass blocking by the offensive line was great. The run blocking struggled at first, but it warmed up as the game went on. So it was a really good game from the offensive line. Derpy Squid, thoughts on Derrick Henry new hairstyle? Yeah, I got nothing to say about that one. And the goddamn Chiefs of all teams cannot force the Titans to have to make Malik Willis throw. You would think a team like the Chiefs would be like, "Oh, no problem. We'll get up by a couple touchdowns. Willis will have to throw a pass and then rip." Let's see here. Thoughts on Jamal Adams? I hope he can make a comeback next year. I think he can be a really valuable, important part of this defense. And I think he would have had a good year this year if he had stayed healthy. So I think he's going to be here contractually no matter what. We're going to be paying him a lot of money either way. So I'd rather just keep him and hope things work out. I mean, Arch Manning is getting hyped because of his play style, his lineage. Yes, that is a factor. But by the way, it's not an empty factoid. Being the close relation of 3 historically great quarterbacks is going to make you more capable of playing quarterback. and also his size, his arm, his intangibles that they've seen so far. There are some things going on with Archie Manning that are very promising. Ooh, nice play by the Chiefs. Can Penny make it back for the playoffs? No, Rajho, I don't think so. I seriously doubt it. And even if he did, he'd probably not really be in full game shape. So I don't know if that's what we would want anyway. Football King 20, Ryan Neal looked good. Yeah, he did. Ryan Neal looked really good. Uh, Kind of a season saver because we clearly were not fully ready for losing Jamal Adams because our first solution was to put Josh Jones out there, and as good as he looked in the preseason and training camp, man, just couldn't do anything well, really. The problem I had with that fourth down shovel pass is we did the same thing last week and it worked, so I doubt the Cards were surprised. That is a valid point that we had just done it the previous week. But watching the play, I felt like the players messed it up. Like Phil Haynes, I think it was Phil Haynes, just didn't get the block. So that's a circumstance where I go, okay, maybe the coaches are a little culpable here, but I don't want to forget to blame the players. Players play. Hmm. Ono Giogo very impressed me for his first NFL game. Yeah, I noticed him a couple times. He didn't do anything bad. He didn't do anything that bugged me. Um, I don't know how long Daryl Taylor's out, but he's probably active again next week, right? Will you stream next week's game? I know you like to. Eugenio, I probably will stream it, but here's the thing: my stream is going to be much more informal than this. It's not going to look like this. It's not going to have the green screen. It's not going to have all the stuff on the all the tech stuff. It's going to be just a very chill hangout stream. I won't be able to stream it the way that I'm streaming like this or the watch along last week with the Jaguars game. It's David. Noah fan stepped up big time today. I felt like this would be a good game for him to do it. We needed help. We needed help with our pass catchers. And I was like, it's either him or Eskridge. And it wasn't Eskridge. It was definitely the other one. Do you think we should extend Nwosu at the end of the season? Yes, E-Man. Based off what I'm seeing right now, that guy's really good and just kind of got slept on because of playing in Bosa's shadow, I guess. Morgan Barclay, do you think Walker should have ran that jet sweep instead of Travis Homer? Well, I'm trying to remember the play. Was K9 and Homer both on the field at the same time? I think K9 was on the field. I'd almost assume it's like a decoy type of or bait of some sort. Pretentious Cameron, how much will Nwosu cost? If I had to guess, I'd say he's pushing up near around 18, 19 million a year. And he's pushing in on 20. Do we know if Taylor and Marquise are out for more weeks? We don't know yet. Now, what we do know is those two guys have not been put on injured reserve yet, which means we expect them back in the next 3 games as of right now. Well, Marcus, here's the thing with Nwosu. He's not a free agent next year. He's still under his old contract. He'll be motivated to rip up his current contract and get on a fat one. So he'll probably take a little bit less than he otherwise would be able to get because he just wants to get a big payday now. But it won't be big. It'll still be at least, I gotta believe, 16 mil a year. Silver Ace, can we afford Geno and Uchenna? Oh, no problem. I wouldn't worry about that at all. Like, it's not ideal to have to pay two guys like that, but you have to remember you can backload contracts. If Collier continues to play well, should we bring him back on a veteran minimum? Did he play well? I didn't notice him once today other than somebody mentioning he was in the game. Like, I didn't see Collier do much of anything. He didn't do anything bad, I guess, but I didn't see anything from Collier that made me feel like wanting to keep him around. No. He got a sack or a 0 yard gain tackle. I don't think he got a sack. I didn't see that. Maybe he got the 0 yard gain tackle. Was it on the last drive of the game? I may have missed it because I was in the John. Carson, Catone, Damian Lewis, and Haynes played well. I think the offensive line really improved as the game went on. Took them a while to get to the point where they were holding up on the interior, but once it got going, it got going. I thought he got the sack, but I looked after the game and it counted as a team sack. Okay. I may have missed this play. If it was like I had to use the facilities during the 2 minute warning and might have missed a play. He touched Murray, went down, should have been a sack. Okay. I guess I just walked out of the room at the wrong time. Eugenio 4, I think the locker room looks very tight and amicable. I don't think we should bring a guy like OBJ that might affect that. That's another consideration as well. Now, I think other players like OBJ, but here's the thing. On this team, OBJ would become a toxic influence because he is going to want the ball, and we're not going to have a lot of balls to throw him. I say we target either Van Pran at center or Patterson. Patterson can play center and guard. I think we can get Patterson in round 4. We need draft capital for the future, and in 2023, trade down 2x and collect. Yeah, the Minnesota center is nice too. I think his name is Schmitz. If that's the center we get, I think that's pretty cool. Whoa, Mahomes. Whoa. How does he do it? This recent draft class is going to make John break the bank to keep everyone. Yeah, but we don't have to worry about that for a few years. It's a good problem to have, believe me. Yeah, did Robbie Anderson have a catch today? I think Robbie Anderson had the drop on third down, but did he have a catch? What if we wait out a year and bet on Caleb Williams? That is kind of what I'm thinking happens. But here's the thing. You're not going to get Caleb Williams because he's going to go number 1 overall. OBJ to the Bills makes the most sense. It was basically the same situation last year when he chose the Rams and Woods wasn't hurt yet. Who is the Bills' third receiver? Because they have Diggs, they have Gabe Davis. Who's their third receiver? That is phenomenal, Isaac Lee. Cool Beasley or Isaiah McKenzie. Okay, Odell would probably start over Isaiah McKenzie, right? Yeah, I was about to say, I thought I read something that said Cole Beasley retired. I like Cole Beasley. He was fun. Corey Coon looks like we will win our division. Don't rule out the Niners. Don't rule out the Niners. I'm going to say that. They're inconsistent, but they could I mean, they have the defense to win a lot of games like 7-6. That defense is phenomenal. Do you think we need a better third string receiver? Yeah, I mean, when Goodwin's in, it's fine, but you always want to try to get better. I think receiver is a position we could consider using a draft pick on in this upcoming draft. Maybe like the late second rounder or the third rounder. But I mean, that depends on Goodwin as well. By the way, you might keep him. Now he's injury prone. You can't completely rely on him. Connor, who's your player of the game? I kind of feel like it should be Geno just because he righted the ship, right? Everything was kind of going bad for Geno, and then he brought it together and put together three phenomenal late game drives. The only other guy I could think of would be Ken Walker. Eugenio Ford, do you think Waldron's gone at the end of this year or he stays a couple more years? He's probably a little too young to get hired as a coach. He's a little inexperienced. And I think the most important thing to keep in mind with what's going on with Waldron is there are not going to be a ton of openings for head coach around the league. If you look around the NFL right now, how many coaches do you expect to get fired in the offseason? Because I was doing this to myself a few days ago and I realized actually when you break it down, there are going to be only a few openings. Like maybe Houston, maybe. If the Chargers miss the playoffs, then them. And what else? Like the Raiders apparently can't fire McDaniels because of money. I like Cade Johnson, man. That guy can run a route. Put Cade Johnson in there. The thing with Eskridge is he's a terrible route runner. That's a big part of the problem. Like, I feel like Cade Johnson can run routes. Yeah, Hackett's going to get fired in Denver. That's a good one. But, like, do you think that well, the Panthers are going to need to hire somebody. But that's it. Like, unless you believe that the Buccaneers are going to fire Bowles or Bowles or whatever. Will Waldron be considered a part of the Carroll tree or the McVay tree when he's hired as a head coach? Well, he started in the McVay tree, right? So it would probably be the McVay tree. Can't believe they said that wasn't a fumble, yet the DK play in New Orleans was. Yeah, I was not okay with that. I was not happy with that. Jeez, that looked like a violent chuck. Man, Mahomes has 10 seconds and can't find anybody open. Ooh, flag down. Never mind. What do we do with Taylor this offseason if we draft an outside linebacker? I imagine you just keep him. He'll still be on his rookie deal probably. Yeah, Addison, it was a great game. Very impressed with almost everything. I think the Broncos pick is going to finish around 6 or 7, if I had to guess. Somewhere around there. But there's still a pretty wide range of where this can go. Like, what if the Titans don't play Tannehill next week against the Broncos? Malik Willis is going to get squashed like a bug against that defense. Do you know Jandrick? Did Cody Barton even play? Yes. He actually played a good amount, and I thought he played okay. Eugenio Ford, do we know what Desai does in the team, or is it blurry? It's kind of vague, admittedly, but the thing is, there's reason to believe that he designs the game plans during the week. What would the Pete coaching tree look like? It would have Gus Bradley and Dan Quinn and Chris Richard, right? And I guess Ken Norton Jr. Out of topic, but do you think the Packers end up with a top 10 pick? Yeah, I do. Like we'll see what kind of Broncos team comes out of the bye week. Remember, they did kind of have that big emotional London win. So I'm not entirely convinced that it's completely over yet and they're just going to be terrible. They're going to be bad. Like, this Broncos team is going to have a losing record almost for sure. I'm down with that. But I'm not convinced of them being like a bottom five team quite yet. Do you think Tariq Woolen or K9 have a shot at the respective rookies of the year? I've made videos about both. So it's definitely on the table. Although by after today, if we're being straight honest, Sauce is probably in the lead. Sauce Gardner's probably defensive rookie of the year favorite. Jamal Adams, what is your prediction for the three worst teams next year? Next year. Hell, the Buccaneers, the Lions, and the. Let's go with the Rams. Why not? All right, tie game with less than 3 minutes to go. Hotshot, do we have the best tight end packages or what? I don't think any other team in the league can go three wide like we do. Or three tight. Excuse me. I missed one. What big contracts do we got to take care of this coming off season? How much cap space would Hawks have? And do you think Hawks would extend Geno 2 years? I think the Seahawks would. I don't think Geno would be okay with that. I think he wants a longer term deal. The only other big contract you might have is Ryan Neal, and it's not going to be that big. Sauce always was the favorite. Whatever Sauce does, Tariq has to do 1.1 times as much to make up for the big name and big brand. Yeah, that's true. But I'm saying, like, Sauce's team, by the way, they look legit. I didn't believe it until today, but they straight up beat Buffalo. That game was not a weird fluke. It's not like Buffalo showed up to the game and slept walk through it. They just won. Worst teams next year: Houston, Detroit, Washington. I feel like Houston might have new life. They're going to have CJ Stroud. Well, no, what am I saying? Carolina's going to get CJ Stroud. Houston's going to get Bryce Young. Okay. You know what? Yeah, Bryce Young. They're going to be bad. Nice kickoff return. Kickoff return coverage. I still think Zach is better than Trevor. I don't like either of them right now. I'm really disappointed in both. I liked both guys a lot. But Zach has not impressed me at all. Lawrence has had a couple of moments. Dacian, do you see us winning more games next year? More games than what? Green 80 Fields better than Trevor? Fields is really blowing me away. I didn't think he had this in him. I did not like Justin Fields that much. I thought it was all right. I was intrigued. I thought that he would be a decent player, but he's showing me a gear that I didn't think he had. Then this year, yes, Dacian, I do. Crispy Chris, can Seattle land Will Anderson? It's a big dream. You need Denver to basically lose out. Jones, Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, etc. are all reasons you re-sign Geno. Right. My issue with statements like that is it implies that re-signing Geno carries no risk. It absolutely does. The Gorilla, do you think Cliff Kingsbury gets fired after this season? They just gave him a lot of money. And also, look, I know that Kyler and Cliff don't love each other, but Kingsbury is probably one of the few coaches you could get who can completely implement the college offense that Kyler wanted. And as much as they may not like each other, if any other coach comes in there and starts to implement other stuff like under center crap, it's probably going to be a terrible, terrible disaster. Like it's not even that good when they're doing all the stuff Kyler wants to do and feels comfortable with. All right, looks like Kansas City is going to cheese their way to the win anyway, because Malik Willis is barely even ready for a college game. Fun player, though. What happens to Russ in Denver next year? Well, who are they going to get to coach them? Who's their head coach? I don't think they can attract Sean Payton. So I don't know who you can get. I think they're just kind of stuck. I think they're probably going to try to, go the Rams route and go all in. But I don't see how Wilson takes his game up without a super guru offensive coordinator or offensive coach in general. Marcus Overley, we can get Nolan Smith and Tyler Davis in second round edge and defensive tackle. Nolan Smith is nice. I'm going to be talking about him probably later this week. Addison, I don't care about what happens in Denver beyond this season. I'm only paying attention to them because we have their pick. Yeah, yeah. Some people really don't like Russ right now and want to see him fail, but that's not very many. Especially if it's an established team, you know the rules are basically rigged for them to win. Eh. I mean, look. I know you're talking about the Brady thing, and I get it. Like I got sick of it too. I get sick of that stuff too. But the Rams deserve to lose that game. We all know it. They just kept let Tampa Bay hanging around, hanging around, hanging around. Can't put the game away. Can't put the game away. Can't put the game away. Uh, should they keep Taylor in 2023? Dead cap is just under 620,000. Yeah, but you only save a few million, right? You're getting a young player with some upside for a few $1,000,000. I don't think you're going to replace. I don't think you're going to use that money to replace Taylor with a player significantly better or significantly more promising than Taylor. That was a BS call on the Titans the Chiefs shouldn't have converted to. Well, they would still be about to win because they'd be about to go kick a field goal. Do you think Donald is going to eat Geno alive? I hate playing the Rams. No, because there's a little bit of a different feeling on this defense. I'm sorry, this offense right now where we are willing to throw big resources at team's best pass rusher. So I think we're going to be doubling, maybe even tripling Donald, and I think Geno will be able to get the ball out faster, and that'll make all the difference. Oh, McCole Hartman is dead. McCole Hartman is dead. Ugh. I know, David. He's still fun, but he's not good yet. Not even close. It's not his fault. We all know he's not ready, but injuries are what they are. By the way, do a spirit dance this week for Ryan Tannehill. Because if Malik Willis plays against Denver, he might throw like 8 pick sixes. Screen pass for about 5, 6 yards. Although Geno kind of forgot about the check down a couple times today, if we're being honest. Like, those 2 sacks he took, the check down was open and he just didn't hit it. Very unlike him. I don't know what happened there, but he found himself not too long after that. He hit a check down to Travis Homer a couple drives later. Tannehill flew with the team and was a game time decision, so I expect him to play next week. I do too. Go Hawks 12. Thoughts on Cody Barton today? He didn't do anything obviously terrible. So, sure, I'm down with it. Okay. 3rd and 1. I don't think it's unreasonable to get Anderson near 3rd overall, especially if the first 2 teams picking are Carolina and Detroit. I agree. But getting a top 3 pick is really going to be tough. I mean, it looks like the initial burst of energy Carolina got from firing their coach is gone. It looks to me like the excitement and enthusiasm that team had is kind of like faded, and now they're just going to get plastered by everybody because they have no talent. So I don't know if we can count on Carolina to win another game this year. They didn't get that first. Carolina's defense isn't bad, offense is mildew. Yeah, but like the worst team they play the rest of the year is what, Denver? And Denver has an elite defense and their offense is mildew. Generally, it hasn't been a super week for QBs as the defensive era is slowly creeping back. This year in general, it is. That's actually a very good point. Um, Defenses are playing better than they have in recent years for the most part. So, are we going to get overtime? If we get overtime, then the stream goes on just a little bit longer. Quick note to everybody, though, just to announce it early. After the Seahawks stream is over, I'm going to jump on over to Twitch within like 15, 20 minutes, I hope, and do Valhalla. I'm scrambling like mad to beat Assassin's Creed Valhalla because on either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, I'm going to be starting on Ragnarok. So shortly after this stream ends, you should see me go live on Twitch to play a couple hours of Valhalla, trying to power through to the end. Tell me, why are we trying to run the wheels off of K9? I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't think it's anything like that where we're aware of the problem and we're just eating it. I think we just generally kind of get lost in it during a game and we're like, oh, we want to keep our best running back in because we want to try to win the game. And in games like this, it can seem like every play is so important. You don't want to give one away to a guy like a guy you don't like as much. Pro Bowl players this year, Geno, nobody else on offense really, unless maybe Ken Walker. Walker has a chance. And on defense, Nwosu, Woolen. That's about it. Mahomes goes deep. Ooh, he had a man but missed him. My Twitch is in the video is in the stream description. It's just Seahawks Brendan Nelson though. Marcus, they went for two and got it. Right, that's what I'm saying, Dionysus. I don't know if I pronounced that name right. I'm sorry if I did. Dionysus the god. I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, you don't want to be giving one running back almost 30 touches in a game. You got to be careful. You can do it sometimes, but you don't want to do it every time. Whoa. How. I swear to God, Mahomes just kind of lobbed the ball up in the middle of like 9 different players and wanted to see what would happen. Yeah, Marcus, it was called back because of a penalty. Thank you, Kel. I appreciate that. I thought DK was going to go off this year because Geno could just throw it up to him. Well, this new offense, the Waldron offense, uses less receivers than almost anyone else. We use a lot of tight ends, so Metcalf just doesn't get the opportunities that he would have 2 years ago or even last year. Wow. What do I think of Travis Homer? I think he's a phenomenal third down back, great blocker, can run with a good amount of power, great pass catcher out of the backfield. I think he's really good at that role. I like him. Dionysus, thank you. Dionysus. Man, Mahomes. Oh, the ball got tipped. Well, looks like we're getting overtime, boys. Because the Titans, being the Titans with Malik Willis, are probably going to need out here. So we're getting a little bit of overtime on the post-game stream tonight. Touchback, flag down. 10 with 5 Tony. How did MJ do today? I think he did all right. He missed a tackle, gave up one or two things in coverage, but overall, I thought Michael Jackson played a pretty good game. Nothing over the top, but he did his job. Homer is also a very good special teams player and is worth a roster spot for that alone. Yes. Great on special teams. What do you think about Rodgers' steep decline? I mean, this is how it goes for quarterbacks sometimes, man. Sometimes for a quarterback, it just falls off a cliff. So I think that it's best if we just stop saying, "Oh my God, I'm so shocked he fell off so fast." No, it's happening to Brady right now too. It happened to Manning. It happened to Brett Favre. Yeah, Woolen played good. Go Hawks 12. I agree. Yes, you did predict the score of the game. I thought of you too. I got really close. I don't know if I got it dead on or if I just got it close. Wow, they're actually going to try something with Malik here, huh? Do you think there was a player that had a down game this week for the Seahawks? Uh, Maybe Jordan Brooks because he missed a couple tackles. Jordan Brooks. Maybe I did, Dacian. I know I was like either 31-21 or 31-24. It doesn't really matter. I just throw out random scores most of the time anyway, to be perfectly honest. Barton down game? No, it wasn't a down game for Barton. Barton probably played better than he does in many games. If anything, Barton played above average because he didn't do anything that I noticed that was bad. Seahawks do, but I think our style of play just doesn't cater to high volume usage receivers. Yeah, but we are still passing the ball at a pretty high rate. So it's not all bad. Oh, I thought that was intercepted. That would have been a game ender, effectively. Last year, do you think Russ coasted when he came back? No. I think if he wanted to coast, he'd just milk the injury and stay out the whole year. Like, why would he even come back when he has a perfectly good excuse to just be like, I'm going on IR. If he wanted to coast, that's the best way to coast. Eugenio, do you think Kyler has become a liability for Arizona? I don't know if he's like a net negative, if that's what you're talking about. Does Miami use way less tight ends? Is that why Waddle and Hill are having monster years? I don't know what formations the Dolphins use, but obviously they throw to their receivers more than we do. Wow, the Chiefs are actually going to get a shot at this. 5 seconds. Alexander Johnson's on the practice squad. Do you feel like we would run more spreads? I don't know if the spread works great. Oh, okay. He deleted the message. I assume he's rewarding that real quick. All right. 5 seconds. I noticed AJ Brown is having a good year. Well, he's a really good receiver. Yeah. Did we come away injury free today? Cullen Gillespie got hurt. And other than that, I think it was pretty clean. Like Brooks went down for a little bit, but he got right back up. He was fine. So I think it was just Cullen Gillespie. Maybe DJ Dallas got tweaked, but I think he's fine. That had to be a 3 second play. Come on, guys. All right. Who do you think we lose this offseason? Probably guys like Puna Ford and Austin Blythe, maybe. I would expect that. Bruce Irvin might retire. There are going to be a lot of low level guys like Josh Jones probably won't be back. All right. I mean, Mahomes can throw it 60 yards, but he's not even going to try. Nah. Do you feel like we would run more spread formations if we had a better wide receiver three? Not really. The tight end thing is working out so well for us. All right, guys. I will be right back. I got to take a bathroom break, and I got to get more water before overtime here starts because I didn't think we'd be going on beyond this. So, see you guys soon. Okay, I'm back. We're going to watch the end of this game together, I guess. Did y'all see Geno's comments? I'm doing better than the last guy. Shots at Russ. Well, what else could he be talking about? Who else could be the last guy? Do you think Geno's a top 7 quarterback right now? Based off this year alone, yes, he is, I think. Based off this year alone, yes. Okay, it was a fake comment? Okay. I was about to say, that's not even a shot. That's just like you basically just stand up and insult him. Top 5? He might be top 5. He's right around there. Based purely off this year. Dacian, do you think DK is a top 10 receiver right now? I mean, he didn't have 1,000 yards last year, and he's not on pace to have 1,000 this year. I think he can be a top 10 receiver. Is he? I feel like he still is because of all the attention he draws from opposing safeties. How long do you think this run will go? You mean the winning streak? I think I've kind of gotten there with Tampa Bay. I think we beat them. I think they're just a bad team. So I think we're going to run past them. And then what else? Ah, man. I don't know if it goes beyond that. I mean, eventually we're just going to have some slip ups and lose a game. But I'm not worried about it right now. Life is good. We are in a 4 game streak of winning by 10 plus, fourth time in franchise history, first since 2014. When you put it like that, it's really notable. You're right. These games are, they're not blowouts, but they ultimately end up being decisive. I think our best chance to get on Sunday night is the game against the Jets. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. But what game do they have in that Sunday night slot right now? Ah, all right. Second and 11. Come on, Mahomes. Get out of the pocket. Nice catch. Kelsey. How do you think Russ would be doing with those 2 tackles and Kenneth Walker? He still wouldn't be able to run the Waldron offense the way it needs to be run, so not as good as this, Morgan. I would expect him to probably be, better than he is this year in Denver because he'll have a better team around him. But I don't think he would be doing as well as Geno is right now. Would you want to sign Deron Payne next year? Yeah. Can you afford Deron Payne and Uchenna Nwosu? With the way Nwosu's playing, that might be hard, but you should probably try to find a way to afford it and then afford it and deal with the consequences later, especially if you're committing to Geno and going for it. Do you think Geno would stay here for a little less money because we gave him a chance? A little less money. A little less money, but not a ton of less money. How did that not get picked off? Wow. What a catch. Do we draft a running back maybe in the second or third to complement K9? We could. I think you could probably get a good running back in the fifth or sixth, too. Damian Pierce was, what, a third round pick? So there's probably going to be a guy at running back that's good enough in that area, too. But yeah, you could do that. Chargers and Rams play Sunday night. Ooh, that could get flexed out very easily. Do we bring back Blythe to continue the cohesion of the offensive line? I'm okay with bringing him back, but I don't want to hand him the starting job. Wow. 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 What a drive. Chargers and 49ers. Okay, that could still. Oh, this one's coming back. isn't it? Wow. Oh, no flag. Okay. Of course, everything. I mean, on a play that good, they have to pick the flag up, right? Jalen Carter or Miles Murphy. I think Miles Murphy might fit what we need more. Jalen Carter might belong in a 1-4-3. And if we're going to stick to this 3-4, then I think maybe we got to go with Miles Murphy because he can play defensive line in a 3-4, I think. If you look at his body type, it makes sense. Watching Kyler and D Hop share some words on the sideline really shows how the leadership is in that organization. Well, here's my thing. Like, we know that Kyler and Cliff don't like each other very much, but seriously, who else is going to run that college style offense in the NFL? Like, any coach you get to replace him is probably going to want to do things in a more typical NFL manner. So I don't see how that helps you, taking you out of what you know the best. 2nd and 2. That poor center who high snapped. Yeah, he's not a very good player. He's just not a very good player. He's a backup for a reason. Kyler has the same career trajectory as RG3. No, RG3 never got paid. RG3 wishes he got paid like Kyler did. By the time RG3's rookie contract was up, it was very clear that he was nothing. Ooh, 4th down. What a bad decision. Are they going for it? This would be wild if they actually went for this. But it's Malik Willis. You got to trust yourself to be able to get the stop. You got to be able to stop Malik Willis. Hard count at least. True, Jeff. I mean, either way, you're going to be able to kick a field goal, right? Nolan Stout, what's your favorite candy bar? My favorite candy bar. I like Three Musketeers. Three Musketeers is pretty good. JG, do we have any national TV games this year left? We still have to play on Thursday night, right? I think that's it, but I think we play on Thursday night. I think LeBron would have been amazing at football if he had trained his whole life to play football. He couldn't just jump over to the NFL and dominate. Yep, they're snapping it. And they're getting the first. And Juju is an idiot trying to pick up a 15-yard penalty for celebrating. I don't think he did, but why is he doing that? Christopher Corona, favorite Seahawks player of all time? Probably Bobby. Probably Bobby. Trey can't play safety. I mean, he could, but right now our safety spot is pretty good. Ryan Neal's playing well, and Diggs is fine. Diggs is a little frustrating, but he's not playing terribly or anything like that. Yeah, that's why I wanted the Chiefs to win this game. I wanted the Chiefs to win this game so the Titans would be mad. And if this Titans defense plays mad against the Broncos, Wilson is going to have a miserable time. I think we should try jump balls to Kobe in the red zone more just to see how it goes. Need to use the 6'7" height. I mean, we're not a great red zone team, right? Today we were. Today we were really good in the red zone, but overall we're just kind of okay in the red zone. So I wouldn't mind mixing it up a little bit. Does DK pass Steve Largent as the number one Hawks receiver? If he has his whole career here, he almost certainly will, just because of the way the passing game in the NFL has changed. Man, So what happens if the Chiefs, not saying they're going to do this. In fact, I think it's almost impossible at this point. What if the Chiefs ran the clock on the game clock all the way down to like 2 seconds and kicked a field goal? Does Kansas City win because the quarter's over, or does Tennessee still have to get the ball because it was only a field goal? Holmes, this Titans defensive line's pretty nasty, man. There's 2 quarters. I've never seen it go to 2 OT unless it's in the playoffs. Tennessee still gets the ball if they haven't had it yet. For what, like an untimed possession? Oh, man. Yeah, this Titans defense looking pretty sharp tonight overall, though. Good luck, Russell. All right. Da 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 da. Field goal is good. Well, good luck, Malik Willis. It's not a bad defense for you to try to cut your teeth on, honestly. All right, guys. Last call, by the way. If you haven't liked the stream, please do so. The stream will be going off whenever this game ends. One way or the other, it's probably ending in the next 10 minutes or so. And again, I will be on I will be on Twitch tonight doing Valhalla. I kind of have to be doing Valhalla every possible moment I have because I'm trying to beat it, and I have no idea how long it is. I know it's very, very long. I don't think we understand how good Largent was. Oh, I understand that, but statistically, Metcalf is going to become a much better, more prolific receiver. Now, he won't be a better receiver. I think Baldwin was probably a better player than Lockett at his peak, but Baldwin's peak lasted like a year and a half, and then he got hurt. All right, Titans going to have about 404. Do you know when the Hawks leave for Germany? I do not. I do not. Baldwin never got league credit. He had that one year where he caught like 14 touchdowns. That was sick. Just about the time he would have started getting league credit, he got hurt, unfortunately. I think we could sweep the Rams. They're running Cup into the ground. Well, they're not a good team right now. Their offensive line is melted down. Stafford's arm is falling off. All right, well, Derrick Henry, you're going to have to carry because good lord, Malik Willis is not ready for this. Do you know how good we are in international games historically? We beat the Raiders 4 years ago in a blowout. I'm trying to remember if there are any other foreign games, international games we played. Whoa. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the NFL playing in Europe, but it apparently works. Malik, play action. He's scrambling around. Oh no! Malik, you have to get rid of it. Oh no! And now the game's over. uh, he'll learn. Russ doesn't get jet lag. Everybody gets jet lag. It's how you deal with it. Do a rain dance for Ryan Tannehill. What's your perspective for the Hawks record before the playoffs? What do you mean? Oh my goodness, Malik. What are you doing? How do you think anything good is ever going to happen doing that? Like, I understand being a rookie, but why does he think that is ever going to produce a positive result dancing around? Yeah, there are going to be a lot of Seahawks fans. Yeah, I liked Malik Willis. I still think Malik Willis will be good, but I definitely didn't want him. Who do you prefer to play Denver? Oh, Tannehill a million times over. My God. If Malik Willis plays, Denver probably wins by 8 touchdowns because of all the defensive scores they're going to have. Malik has like 4 complete passes in this game, I think. What will the Hawks record before they enter the playoffs be? I'll say 10 wins. I'll just go with 10 wins. Well, that's ball game, people. Chiefs hold on, which I like. It means Tannehill's more likely to play next week and Tennessee's more likely to win next week. So, thank you everybody for coming out. We had some good conversations about the game. We went for a little over 2 hours. Like I said, after the stream is over, I'm going to take a little bit of time and then I'm going to get on Valhalla. So I'm going to be testing out my new PlayStation headset as well. So go ahead and come on by. Should be like a half hour at most. It'll probably be less. And I will see you guys there, hopefully. If not, see you in the morning